Happy Friday, Potassium. I hope you had a great week. I'm very excited to finish up here our story time this week. We are going to read another Oliver Jeffers story. We're going to read Stuck today. And there's a particular reason why we're reading Stuck. Stuck is not a new story for our class. In fact, we've read it several times since we've done our Oliver Jeffers author-illustrator study. But as the school year comes to an end, I'm finding myself kind of looking back and remembering a lot of the things the class enjoyed a lot. And so I'm feeling kind of nostalgic, and, like when we look back at, our memories that make us feel good. And so Stuck has always been one of those really funny stories that the class really enjoyed, and they just found it so silly, the things that they do. But it's a great story about being determined and not giving up, which is something that I see in the class a lot. And so I these last few story times that we're going to have are going to be repeat books for the class. Not for our channel, but just for the class. But those will be stories that mean a lot to me and that the students enjoyed at school too. So let's go ahead and get going with Stuck here. By Oliver Jeffers. All right. It all began when Floyd's kite became stuck in a tree. He tried pulling and swinging, but it just wouldn't come unstuck. The trouble really began when he threw his favorite shoe to knock the kite loose, and that got stuck too. You can see why we really like this story. So he threw up his other shoe to knock down his favorite one, and unbelievably, that got stuck as well. There are the other shoes. In order to knock down his other shoe, Floyd fetched Mitch. I think Mitch is going to climb up the tree and get his stuff for him. Cats get stuck in trees all the time, but this is getting ridiculous. Floyd fetched the ladder. He was going to sort this out once and for all. Great idea to use a ladder, how to climb up a tree. Making sure he has help though. And up he threw it. What? I'm sure you can guess what happened. There's a ladder stuck right there. The ladder was borrowed from a neighbor who would definitely need it to be put back before anyone noticed. And in order to do so, Floyd flung a bucket of paint at it. And wouldn't you know it, the bucket of paint got stuck. Look how mad Floyd is. And then Floyd tried. A duck to knock down the bucket of paint. A chair to knock down the duck. His friend's bicycle to knock down the chair. The kitchen sink to knock down his friend's bicycle. Floyd's front door to knock down the kitchen sink. The family car to knock down the front door. The milkman to knock down the family car. An orangutan to knock down the milkman, who surely had somewhere else to be. Where would he get an orangutan from? My goodness. A small boat to knock down the orangutan. A big boat to knock down the small boat. A rhinoceros to knock down the big boat. A long distance truck to knock down the rhinoceros. The house across the street to knock down the long distance truck. Oh my, so silly. A lighthouse to knock down the house no longer across the street. A curious whale in the wrong place at the wrong time to knock down the lighthouse. So silly. Look how big that whale is. How is Floyd gonna throw that up a tree? And they all got stuck. There's that whale right there. A fire engine was passing and heard all the commotion. The firemen stopped to see if they could help at all. Can we help at all? He says. And up they went. First the engine, followed by the firemen, one by one. Floyd just doesn't give up, does he? And there they stayed, stuck between the orangutan and one of the boats. Firemen would definitely be noticed missing, and Floyd knew he'd be in big trouble. Then he had an idea and went to find a saw. I wonder what he's going to do with a saw. He lined it up as best he could, and he hurled it up the tree. My goodness. And that was it. There was no more room left in the tree, and the kite came unstuck. Floyd was delighted. He had forgotten all about his kite and put it to use immediately, enjoying the rest of his day very much. That night, Floyd fell asleep exhausted. Though before he did, he could have sworn there was something he was forgetting. What do you guys think he forgot? You're right, all that stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed today's story. I really did. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.